Their food's fucking rotten. That I can tell you without fear of contradiction. Scrambled eggs, she calls it. This is today, lunchtime. What's this slop you're giving us now? I ask her. Now then, Agnes, she says, patronising old bitch. I've got a nice plate of scrambled eggs for you. She unveils it as if it's the crown fucking jewels or something. What do you call that? I say to her. Scrambled eggs, she says. By the looks of it, somebody else has already eaten it, I say. It's delicious, she says. Try it. I just look at her. There's grilled tomato with it. You like tomato, she says. I bloody hate tomato, I tell her. No, you don't, she says. Cheeky bitch. At least try it. I'd rather eat my own shite, I say to her. That puts her gas at a peep. She buggers off. Honestly, I'm paying good money to be in here, and the crap they give you. Well, I'm not paying, the social is, but it's the same bloody difference. They're getting 500 a week to look after me, and what do they dish up? I wouldn't feed to a dog. No bloody fear, no bloody thanks. I just let her scrambled bloody eggs sit there and have a Mars bar for lunch. My nephew brings them in. He's gay, but a good lad all the same. Wants to be a hairdresser. Well, they all do, don't they? He's done my hair before. Made quite a good job of it. Better than that Egypt they send round. Brenda. Looks like she's been dragged through a hedge backwards. Straw hanging out a midden. Not a good sign. Sure enough, she's pap. Last time she did mine, I looked like Wurzel Gummidge. Farmer could have stuck me in his fucking field and I've made some extra dosh for myself. And the money she charges, forget it. I never used to swear before I came in here. Sure, that's awful. This place drives you to it. You should see some of them in here. Like the night of the fucking living dead. Doddery old buggers. Stoating around like fucking zombies. I don't know if it's the drugs they give you, keep you quiet, or whether they were like that before they came in here. There's some real humdingers in here. That Wilhelmina doesn't know if she's coming or going, poor old soul. Aye, peering herself. You're sitting watching that old witch Anne Robinson on The Weakest Link, which, to be honest, I actually quite like. And all you can hear is the sound of running water. Here, Eileen, that's Wilhelmina off again, I shout. In comes poor Eileen with a bedpan, every time. You're too late with that, I always say. You need a mop or a bucket. Works hard, that Eileen. Not much up top, and I'm sure they pay her in buttons, but a nice enough lass all the same. Then there's Hugh, another of my fellow inmates, shuggy to his pals, of which he has few. Fancies himself as a bit of a ladies' man. He's still sporting the pencil moustache as if he's David fucking Niven or something. Trouble is, he's completely doolally. Always wandering about here with his dressing gown wide open and nae pyjamas on. Fancy a go on this, ladies? Is his usual opening salvo. Fuck off, you. I'm having my cornflakes, is my usual riposte. I think he might have had his end away with that Isabel a few doors down from me. Aye. Mind you, she'd do pretty much anything for 10 bob on a slice of Battenberg cake. Then there's Elspeth. She's like me. Still got her marbles. Well, one or two anyway. Has big problems with her bowels, so she does, amongst other things. Well, she's ancient. 85. What can you expect? What a fucking bore she is, though. I don't mind ill people, but she's always going on about her ailments, especially that fucking colostomy bag of hers. always needing emptied. She fills it quicker than you can fill a bag of chocolate raisins at Woolworths. If I've heard it once, I must have heard it 100 times. How I Got My Colostomy by Elspeth Marshall. Her tale of two shitties, I call it. I don't really have any friends in here. Well, not what you'd call friends. No point. I'm going home soon. Back to my family. I'm feeling much better. And I'm walking fine. Don't need that fucking thing at all, that Zimmer. Couple of wee falls. You'd think I was at death's door. I'll be back soon enough, out of this dump. Few more weeks. I do get visitors, of course. My friend Nancy comes sometimes. And my next door neighbour Lizzie comes up now and again. Nice old biddy she is. But again, she doesn't exactly cheer you up. Last time she says, "Why don't we go for a wee walk? You're allowed." "Aye, fine," I says. "Where will we go?" Know where she takes me? A walk through the fucking cemetery, which is just down the road for here. Having a laugh or what? She's bringing stuff she makes, like marmalade or piccalilli, neither of which I can use. "You get that stuff in here," I keep telling her. "Bring me chocolate." But she never listens. Mostly it's my family that comes, when they can. My son Davy usually visits once a week. He's a good boy. Would like to come more, but he's a family of his own now. I know myself how busy that can be. His wife, Jen's, great, lovely girl, really family orientated. They've got 2. Andrew's 18, he's at university now, and Marie's doing her GCSEs, wants to go into hotel management. Bright girl, got her head screwed on, especially about money, like her mother. She'll go far. And of course, my nephew comes once in a while, Stephen. Think he's lonely, you know. Can he find himself a boyfriend? Probably needs to bulk up a bit. They like that, gays, don't they? Family, that's what's important. The only thing that's important. That's why I did it. Well, I suppose there were selfish reasons too. I was a bit lonely myself at the time. Bill's been dead 3 years, and here I was bouncing around in a 5 apartment by myself. I had the space and they didn't. Andrew and Marie were still sharing a room, for Christ's sake. A teenage boy and girl. No, it was no good. I'd go round there for my tea sometimes, and between the 4 of them there was barely enough room to swing a cat. Jen had been hinting a bit too. Subtly, but hinting. I thought about it and I thought, why not? Be company for me and plenty of room here for them. I'd take the downstairs bedroom and they could take the 3 upstairs rooms, and we'd share the living room and the kitchen and bathroom. Seemed like the ideal arrangement. Sure enough, after they move in, it's tickety-boo. It's lovely having family around. The 5 of us eating together round the big table, watching telly at night, spending time together. Of course, they like different things from me on the telly. The X Factor, for example, which as far as I'm concerned is a load of fucking shite. So after a while, I decide I might as well get a wee portable for my room, for the programmes I like. Much easier all round. If they're watching something I like, I go in and watch on the big telly. If not, I just go to my room. I usually let them have the bathroom first in the morning too. You know, get out to school and work. Then I go in and do my ablutions. Gets me up and about a bit later than usual, but I don't mind. You've got to let the young ones get themselves sorted first. At the beginning, Jen does all the cooking. Lovely cook she is. Does a rare roast chicken. Delicious. Then later on, she tells me that cooking for five's getting a bit much for her, and would I mind getting my own? Well, of course, I've always been very self-sufficient, and I'm no a big eater, so I say, fine. Suits me to a T. Jen's wonderful about it. Gives me my own shelf in the fridge and my own wee kitchen cupboard, all for my bits and bobs. Very cosy. So I just get my own. A bit of cold meat or something on a sandwich. An odd packet of biscuits. I'd probably cook more, but Jen's in the kitchen a lot now and likes to keep things a certain way. Probably best if I stay out of her road. So I do. I take to having my meals in my room after a while. Turns out they like to watch telly while they eat. Not big talkers. So I make up my sandwich at night and usually just leave them to it. It's the ideal arrangement, really. I give Jen a bit of money for bills and so on, and she takes care of everything. Davy lets her run the money side, which I personally think is a good thing. He's never been very good with it. Goes through his fingers like water. Whereas she's really on the ball when it comes to finances. So that's it. Of course, I can't really have my friends round like I used to. But that's okay. I can go round to them. Otherwise, I'll do a wee bit shopping or just sit in my room, watch my portable. Nice having people staying, though. Good to see a bit more of them, but they lead such busy lives. Anyway, we're all very happy together. One big family, just like I thought it'd be. It's Jen's idea, originally. Shocks me a bit at first, I admit that. But once she explains things, she has a great way of explaining things, it does seem like the right thing to do. They've been here a while now, after all. Well, 6 months or so. And they're all settled in. Plus, if I pop my clogs, it just reverts to the council anyway, which would be a shame after all the work Bill and I did on the place. I've no money of my own, and I'd like to pass something on to them. So I agree. Jen gets the papers sorted, which I then sign. We come to a wee arrangement later about rent and so on. I pay her about £30 a week, including bills, which I think is very generous of her. She's a wonderful daughter-in-law. I move to the upstairs room, which is a wee bit smaller, but then Andrew needs a bigger room to put a desk in for his studies, and I don't really use a lot of space in the downstairs room, so that suits me fine. Davy's very good too. Puts a wash hand basin in my room so that I don't have to spend so much time in the bathroom. I can brush my teeth and have a wee wash every morning in my own room now. I only take a bath once a week anyway, so it's fine really. Plus, being upstairs now saves me going up and down to the toilet all the time. I can just walk across the landing. My legs are starting to go a bit, you see, osteoporosis, so this suits me much better. The first time's not long after this. I'm walking back from the bathroom to my room, and I just go I remember reaching for the banister at the top of the stairs, but I miss and come clattering down. They were all out. It was just me. Nothing broken, luckily, but very badly bruised. I don't have to stay in hospital, thank God. A few weeks bed rest and I'll be as right as rain. Jen's ever so nice, bringing me my meals, doing my washing. I know how busy she is, so I really do appreciate it. Later, when I'm feeling better, she suggests I might get a stick or something, but I don't want that. Trying to be helpful, of course, but the thing is, once you get a stick, you never get rid of it. I see them with sticks down the shops all the time. A lot of them don't need them. They can walk perfectly well without one. I may be old, but I'm no invalid. So I say no, which of course Jen understands. I'm doing fine, as a matter of fact. I really am. Taking my pills, feeling much better. Then, one day, I'm out at the shops and I trip. I know the minute I fall, hear it crack, my hip. So that's me in the hospital. Have to have it replaced. The operation's quick enough, all right, but it's a long recovery. Not ideal. But I settle myself into the idea. Just have to grin and bear it. What else can you do? They come and visit me, the family. Bring me my bedclothes and some of my things. Davy comes a fair bit, and the kids, on occasion. I'd like to have seen more of Jen, but there you are, busy mum. The operation goes very well as it happens, and I'm recuperating fine. Then, near the time I'm due to get out, Jen finally comes to see me, which is wonderful. I'm so looking forward to coming home, I tell her. Well, yes, I wanted to talk to you about that, she says. Oh, aye, I says. Aye, she says, we were thinking, Davy and me, that just for a wee while you might want to go somewhere just to get fully recovered, really get back on your feet. I'm busy with work and the kids now, and we just thought, until you can really look after yourself, you might think about going somewhere. You mean one of the family? I said. I don't know why I said that. Davy's 3 brothers are all abroad. Eileen, my daughter, has a place in the West End, but she's at the top of a tenement block, so that wouldn't be any use. No, Jen says, there's a place not too far from us where you can convalesce for a bit. Woodburn, it's called. Davy's been out to see it and says it's lovely. And they'd really look after you there. Just until you feel better, and we can still come and visit you. I feel fine, though, I say to her. We think it would be best, she says. What about the cost? I ask her. Oh, don't worry about that, she says. I've looked into it. Social services will pay for it. I've got all the forms filled out. In fact, I brought them with me. Thought it might be best to just get you all signed up today. I have to admit, she took me aback a bit with that. Well, I wasn't really expecting it. I think she could see it in my face, because the next thing she says is, don't worry, it'll only be for a few weeks, Agnes, just until you get better. I'd love to have you home now, but really it's no fair on Davy and the kids. I've only got one pair of hands after all. No, I quite understand, I tell her. You're right, of course. I wouldn't want to be a burden. You're not a burden, Agnes, she says. It's just for a wee while. She gives me a hanky. I blow my nose. As I say, lovely girl. The papers are all filled out, so all I have to do is sign them, which I do. And that's me. A few days later, I come here. My room's all ready, and Davy brings over a suitcase with some clothes and so on. It's not ideal, but then I'm not going to be here for very long, so what does it matter? Davy ends up visiting the most. He's a good boy. Wish he could stay for longer when he comes, but, well. One day he arrives carrying the biggest box of chocolates I've ever seen. He knows I like chocolate, but usually it's a bar of Galaxy and Lumpet. He's no a bad boy, he's just, well, how shall I put it, a man. I'm thinking he's come to take me home. It's been a few weeks and I'm feeling much better. So when I see what he's carrying, I get a wee bit excited. Thought you might like these, Mum, he says. Oh, aye, lovely, son, thanks very much. It's something I wanted to talk about, Mum, he says. Aye, I thought so. How did you know, he says. I'm your mother, I know these things. Well, we were thinking, he says. It's been a few weeks now and... I know, I say to him. The doctor was in the day, says I can go home soon. Well, that's it, you see. We were thinking you might want to stay a bit longer, he says. He kind of floored me with that one. What for? Well, we're worried about you, Mum. What if you fall again? It could be an awful lot worse next time, he says. I'm fine, I tell him. We think, Jen and me, that it would be safer, better, if you stayed a bit longer, you know, just until we sort something out, he says. How we all look after you, Jen in particular. She's busy, Mum. Just a few more weeks. Right, I say. Or so, he says. Aye, right, I say. No, you're right, son, I expect. Just until you sort something out. Aye, he says. Just until then. We sit there in silence, neither of us speaking. Don't know what to say to each other. I've never sat like that with Davy in my life. Good. Right. Well, that's settled then, he eventually says to me. So, anyway, I can't stay long. I just wanted to pop in and Jen likes me home for 7, so... Which I know she does. Aye. You go, son. I'm fine, I tell him. Are you sure? He says. Aye, of course, I say to him. Thanks, Mum. I'll come and see you again soon, he says. He gives me a kiss and off he goes. He's right, of course. They need to get something sorted out. Jen's very busy. And well, I have actually got used to this place, in a way. Has its ups and downs, of course, but then so does anywhere. I'm on about it, sure, but I've always been a moaner. They have bingo, tea dances. I've got my telly here, all my meals. Really, I'm very lucky, very lucky. And the family do visit from time to time. It's been nearly 6 months now. Thought I wouldn't be home by now. But well, it's gone quite quickly, to be honest, which is a good sign, I think. If it was dragging, hopefully they'll get something sorted out soon, with Jen and everything. Sure they will. I wish my Bill was here. Where is he when I need him? Typical man, eh? Never there when you want them. What can you say?
I want to go home.